When you say cut expenses or reduce expenses, it's not saying we're cutting the budget, because as Mr. Logan has already said, in a time when we're asking the county in every department to reduce their budget and cut spending, we have told him in our meeting, our 3-day meeting, our retreat, that we propose to try to fund school system at the same level in which we did last year, while we're asking other departments to cut budgets. So when we're saying cut expenses, we're not saying we're cutting the dollars available necessarily. We're asking them to find ways to make those dollars go from them. I think it's important that message is conveyed here. Along those same lines.
I'll clarify that
Okay.
too, though, because at the retreat, we also said, and I'd like to know what the number is, but we also, at least I said, that I considered a cut in the budget if the per pupil decreases. And so that we should, as a county, fund an increase in the in enrollment. So before we leave tonight, I'd like to know what DPI is projected for enrollment, because I consider, I mean, the rest of the board probably disagrees with me, but I consider that a cut if we don't fund at least the same level of per pupil.
Not by definition, but
Yeah, I'll go out on a limb here and say I disagree with that. And I'll address it maybe a little bit later on why that I feel that these reductions are important. But if if we're going to fund something at the exact same level we funded last year, it's $1 per year. If you fund more than that, it's an increase. Whether it's for per pupil or not, if you fund more dollars, that's an increase. If you fund less, that's a cut. My goal, speaking for me personally, is to fund the same amount. And again, you can see there's probably some disagreement among the board. My commitment is to fund the same amount. And I understand, Ms. Howard, what you're saying about why are we in this position. If the school budget was the only thing on our budget, then we could fund more to that. Unfortunately, the county expects us to do other things, and expects us to fund schools, and expects us to fund parks, the emergency system. There's a lot of things that we fund. And our operating costs, if you just look at our capital improvements plan, and these are kind of round numbers, our operating costs are looking to increase very significantly from now till 2016. There's a lot of costs kind of built in with the Margaret Pollard School that have not yet hit our budget. We're hopefully going to build a new high school, and we're also building a new judicial center. We very well have to build a new jail. Those are just big ticket items. We fund the parks at about $100,000 each in operating costs. So if we do find the money to increase the dollar amount for the schools, then it's got to come from those other areas. Some of you probably say, raise property tax a little bit and just create more money. I will tell you that that's a hard argument with me. Again, I'm not speaking to the board. That's a hard argument for me. Until I can feel very comfortable that we have reduced spending everywhere it needs to be reduced, then I just can't in good conscience say we're going to raise the property tax. I spent some time out in Bear Creek last week, and some of those folks out there were almost in tears when they hear that people are pressuring us to raise their property tax. There are some that, a nickel, a few cents on the property tax, they won't feel it. There are others that will feel it significantly. We've got to keep that in mind. And that's how I've come to the conclusion that I would love to fund this where we are, but not more. That's where we're kind of putting pressure on you folks to present us a budget that gets us there.
I'd like to commissioners working with the school board and producing the funding to support their budget requests. This will be my 7th year of doing this budget with the school board. I don't know of 1 year that the board of commissioners has not provided almost everything that the school board asked for. And I know in the last 4 years they were provided everything they were asked for. And for the suggestion of raising taxes, maybe the people in here, because you're obviously all interested, could stand the tax raise. But I know so many people that come out, just like Brian said, that the atmosphere for a tax increase in the middle of a recession is not gonna fly. So we're gonna, I think this board is gonna do the best we can to provide at least the same budget we had last year. But I don't see a tax increase support by the citizens board.
Yeah, because just keep in mind that anywhere we reduce outside the school budget, it's critical to someone. And it's tough, and, you know, in my opinion, we've got to reduce the spending because of the costs that we know are coming. Now, hopefully, what we're doing on the other side with economic development will expand our tax base, and some of it will be taken care of from there. That's why we're kind of putting you all where we are, and hoping that you can handle the state cuts, and maybe they won't be as bad as you think, without us piling on to that.